AMD stock has disappointed stock market investors. It's down 12% year to date in 2024 when the S&P 500 index is approaching a 30% year to date return. A huge underperformance for a semiconductor stock when semiconductor stocks are also soaring. Its main rival, Nvidia, is absolutely exploding higher. So AMD disappointing investors across all dimensions. Of course, I'm disappointed in that. I've had AMD stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy here in 2024, and it's been one of my worst performing recommendations year to date. But where will AMD stock be in 2025? 2024 is almost over. We can almost forget about that. But what about 2025? That's the question I'll answer in this video, looking at several valuation methods to determine where I think AMD stock lands by the end of 2025. So let's take a look. Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video. Moomoo is a trading platform where you can buy and sell stocks and other investments. I use the platform for investing myself. If you join using the link in my description, you can get up to 15 free stocks. All right, to make this stock price prediction, I'm going to need several estimates and assumptions and numbers, one of which is the current share price, which is down 12% year to date. The other thing I need is AMD's forward price to earnings ratio, which as of this recording stands at 25. This is near the lowest AMD's forward PE has been, going all the way back to January of 2022. And I'm going to include in my forecast, in my stock price prediction, that AMD's forward PE ratio will rise next year. And I'll share with you why I think it's going to rise. So one of the other things I need to make my stock price prediction is AMD's earnings per share estimate for the year 2026. And according to Wall Street analysts that are following AMD stock, they think the company will deliver $4.46 in EPS in 2026. They also think that AMD's EPS will rise from this point to $5.95 in 2027 to $9.30 in 2028. So Wall Street is optimistic on AMD's earnings per share prospects over the next several years. 2022 and 2023 were not good years for AMD's earnings per share. As you could see, just 53 cents in GAAP EPS in 2023, as AMD's gaming and personal computer segments offset growth in its other two segments, including the data center AI segment. But in the back half of the decade, the personal computing side of the business is going to thrive because of the huge replacement cycle in personal computers that will need to happen. Those computers, there was a lot of computers purchased in 2020 and 2021. They're going to need to get upgraded at some point in time between 2025 and 2028, and that's going to boost the total addressable market opportunity in that space for AMD. Also, its gaming console business is struggling as the latest generation devices from Sony PlayStation are getting long in the tooth now. And so towards the back end of the decade, there's likely going to be an upgrade cycle on the gaming side. And so that's going to drive profitability as well for AMD. And of course, the data center segment, fueled by the investments in data centers optimized for AI, AMD is already benefiting significantly from that segment. So for all those reasons, I think AMD's forward PE multiple will begin to rise next year as it gets closer to capitalizing on those strong tailwinds. So now that we have the estimates we need, let's jump into the price target estimate for 2025. Of course, the current share price is $130 a share. And here is the scenario I've modeled for AMD stock. If you want access to these spreadsheets, and I'm going to share with you my discounted cash flow valuation model also for AMD, all of these spreadsheets are available to you as a channel member at the investor tier. You can have access to all of these, and I update these multiple times daily. I add multiple new recommendations, multiple new discounted cash flow valuation models. It's a really good benefit to have as a channel member. So back to the valuation. If the company's EPS stays on track for $4.46 and the forward PE stays the same at 25, the price could end the year at $113 per share. But I already talked about that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the forward PE multiple is going to rise. It's just a matter of how much do I think it's going to rise. If it goes up to 28, the price could rise to 125 per share. If it goes up to 30, the price could rise to $134 per share. If it goes up to 35, then the price could rise to $156 per share. Okay, that's an interesting observation of 4 different scenarios. But let me look at my discounted cash flow valuation model as well to incorporate that into my estimate for 2025. So according to my discounted cash flow valuation analysis for AMD stock, which I did on October 7th, but the numbers are still incredibly relevant because these numbers don't change all that frequently and by all that large magnitude. And so my latest intrinsic value calculation using this DCF for AMD found that the stock's intrinsic value per share is $180 per share. $180 per share. Okay, so that's interesting as well. Let's go back to our scenarios here. So given that I think the forward PE multiple is going to rise, and given my DCF signals that the price is around $180 per share intrinsic value, I would forecast that by the end of 2025, AMD's stock price will rise to a range between $150 per share to $160 per share. Of course, this is just my estimate, and the numbers could be much higher than that. They can also be much lower than that. But according to my analysis and my estimates, this is my target for where I think the stock price ends in 2025. So that's considerable upside from the current share price of $130 per share. And I would say the risks to this estimate are to the upside and not to the downside. I would estimate that the risks are to the upside. Of course, information purposes only. This should be used as education, and you should do your own due diligence before making any decisions regarding any of these investments. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.